Good morning, welcome to Mandurah. I am slowly making my way up to Perth because I'm flying to Sydney next week, and so I thought I will make a few days stop in Mandurah and try to look for our dolphin. See, we had a favorite dolphin in Mandurah who we spent last summer with. She's super friendly, but unfortunately she has been missing. We have a bad feeling about it. She is probably not alive anymore. She not only has a very bad entanglement on her tail, but the last time we saw her, she actually had an accident with a boat. And we didn't see how much damage there was. We only seen that her dorsal fin was damaged. But since nobody's seen her ever since, we don't know if maybe she had some more injuries. But anyway, it's known that sometimes the dolphins migrate and maybe join a different family. And there is Mandurah dolphins. I'll get the drone out and see. Every time I fly the drone, I always check all the tails of the dolphins to see if I can spot her. But I'm pretty sure if she was in Mandurah, we would have known about her because she is a beggar. She goes from the one fisher to the next, checking maybe somebody would give her fish, which I am not saying you should be doing. It's not good to feed the wild dolphins, but people do. I have to burn the incense because there's so many flies. When does it stop? How long is the fly season? That's the only way they leave me alone. Or maybe some repellent. And so I thought in this video I could maybe respond to some questions I'm getting that are not complex enough to make a video by itself. A lot of people are asking, where do I get my post sent to, since I do not have a physical address. And I must say, here in Australia we are quite lucky, I think, because Australian Post provides quite a few free services for people like me. If you download the app, you will find all the participating post offices, I think it's probably the most anyway, where you can use their address. You will get your own parcel collect number and you use their address. And when a package gets sent to you, you will see it in your app. You will get notified when it's ready for collection and you can just come and pick it up from the post office. Or you can also get a parcel locker, which is also free. Isn't it crazy? And there you can pick it up at any time, even at midnight, so it's super convenient. Of course, sometimes you come across a service that doesn't want to post to parcel collect. It happened to me yesterday when I wanted to order something from Amazon. Actually, Amazon is usually pretty good. It must have been just something about that particular product. But then government agencies and stuff like that, they don't like these addresses. What I do is that I find a post office that has an address that looks like a normal residential address, just a house number and street, not one in a shopping center, for example. And then I use my own name. I don't include the parcel collect number to make it look like a normal address. And the post is still going to keep it for maybe about 2 weeks and wait for you to pick it up. The only downside is that you are not notified about the package being there. They are not gonna go through the trouble to try to find your parcel collect number. So you have to know that you are expecting something, and then you have to go and ask whether it's there yet or not. This way I had my West Australian driver's license sent to me to Esperance. Of course, for the ultra official stuff like my car registration or the address that's on my physical driver's license, I use the addresses of my friends. Of course, Sydney is easy to me because that's where my sis lives. And when I switched to Perth, I actually used a friend's address. I have only met him once before and he just offered, so why not? It's not that difficult to come across an address you can use. Sometimes I have to put my address on a CV when the employers want to only employ people who live nearby. and I usually use an address of a caravan park, and it may or may not be one that I have actually stayed at in the past. I just got to the public pool, so I'm going to have a shower. I get so many questions. Shower, 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 where do you shower? I guess if you never really thought about it, the impression can be that there's not many showers out there, but the truth is showers are everywhere. There is gyms, there is pools, there is beach fronts, there is sports clubs, roadhouses, petrol stations, even some backpackers or caravan parks let you come in for a shower. It doesn't always work. There was this lady in Kaikoura who would always get really sour when I would come there for showers. She would be like, so you camp somewhere for free and then you come here just for a shower? And I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. Now, do you want my $5 or not? Anyway, I'm using the app Campermate.
There are two apps that I use. Wikicamps seems to be more popular in Australia. However, I cannot get over how dumb it is when it comes to filtering, so I mostly use Campermate. It's way more popular in New Zealand, but it works in Australia too, and it's very easy to filter out exactly what I need. You can look up showers. Blue are cold, red are hot. I also use it to find dump stations. Of course, there are none in Perth. I empty my toilet at the Karrinyup Waters Resort for $5. Sometimes I look up water taps for topping up my water, and of course the main thing is all the free overnight spots. There are none in Perth, but it's very handy when you are traveling.
You guys, I have to tell you something. I have lived in this van for over 2 years now, and the whole time I have been dreaming about the steering wheel table, because I was always thinking it would be nice if I could like edit here or eat my lunch, but I never got one because I never came across one. And the ones that are available online, they have like these deep grooves in them, and I was always concerned that my keyboard wouldn't like it because it's quite thin, so it would bend and flex underneath. But today I was like, no, I really need to sit here and do some work. And so I grabbed a few things and started experimenting. I even got this coat hanger that maybe I could somehow hang something on the wheel. But then I got my chopping board. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? The whole time I could have just done that. And let me tell you, it's sturdy. Like, I wouldn't be scared to have a soup here, like hot soup. It's not gonna go anywhere. It's like, it's perfect. And maybe I could sit a bit more upright to eat. Wow, I love it. Why did it take me so long? Maybe I could put one more, like a larger chopping board here to make it bigger. Something like that. So that's all I have managed to pre-record before I left Perth, so welcome to Sydney! Yes, my hair is a bit different. We have a really good hairdresser here that we have been visiting for years and years, and so usually when I come, Hannah organizes her to come here and she cuts all the girls' hair. It's amazing, and this time I felt like a change. I asked her for the fringe. She was very hesitant to do that, but I don't know really why, because I think it turned out really well. Everybody here tells me I look even younger now. I'm like, oh guys, stop, I can't be underaged. Anyway, we have more questions to go through. I think the next question was, where do I get water from? Well, water is plentiful. I have the filter, so I don't really care much. Most public toilets have a tap, or some public barbecues, or there's some water fountains. Some of them you can find on Campermate. And most of the taps you actually need a tap key, but that's not a problem because you can buy it at every Bunnings. How do you get Wi-Fi or mobile data? I was saying it before somewhere here. I got 300 gigabytes from Boost, and I'm trying to stretch it out as much as I can. I hope I can get at least 10 months out of it. Of course, once you get remote, Telstra or Boost is your best bet for data. But even so, a lot of the times I am forced to an internet detox because there is no reception whatsoever. I'm kind of waiting for Starlink to get a little bit more reasonable. I mean, at the moment it's sitting at $80 for 50 gigabytes. I think that's still a little bit steep, but we are getting there. Better? What happens when you get sick? What kind of sick are we talking? Like the sniffles and sore throat, just a basic cold? I mean, being sick in a van like that is actually the best place I was sick at, because my New Zealand van used to have a diesel heater, so I would crank it up to 28 degrees and I would sweat it all out almost overnight. But I noticed that the approach to sickness is very different here than it is back home. Like in my country, when we get sick, we try to get as hot as possible. We drink the hot tea, eat hot soup, and we get into bed with multiple duvets and we sweat it all out. We get all disgusting because we believe that the sweat gets rid of toxins, but also it makes the immune system to work faster. While here, when I tried to offer a hot drink to somebody who was sick in New Zealand, they were like, huh? Also, when they have sore throats, they often eat ice cream, which is again like, huh? Like when I have a sore throat, I put a scarf and I'm trying to keep it really warm. I wonder if the bugs behave differently on different continents. What do you do on days when it rains non-stop? I love these days. You know how relaxing it is to hear the drops on the roof. It's almost as if you were falling asleep on a beach listening to crashing of the waves. And I read books, I watch series, I play my ukulele, I make my porridge or tea or coffee, whatever. And you know what? If it takes multiple days and you really get sick of not moving, you can always go to the gym or just put the raincoat on and go for a walk anyway. It's just water. Do you ever get woken up by rangers or police? Oh yeah, it happens quite rarely, usually only when I'm way too daring and I stay at places where I know I shouldn't really. I got the knock at Trig Beach once. I would normally never stay there, but I had a nasty migraine. I was really sick, so I took some painkillers and I passed out. And at 3 a.m. they came. I was so sick I didn't even put the curtain on, so there was no hiding. They could see me, but they were actually very nice. They just told me there is no camping there, but they said I can stay till the morning, so no problem. And then once I got a knock in the morning near City Beach, and I didn't respond to that, and I got a leaflet saying that the whole suburb is no freedom camping. So that's for the people who were saying, you were just lucky in Perth, you never got into the system, they never caught you, but once they catch you and they have your rego, that's when it becomes impossible. They did have my rego, they seen me around. So yeah, maybe it was not that was the issue. Do you pay for campsites or mostly free camp? I mostly free camp. I am not living in a van to pay rent, right? But sometimes I do stay in a campsite, especially if it's not too expensive. I think $15 a night is okay. In some regions, freedom camping is not as easy as in others, and it's, for example, the reason why I haven't traveled the southwest much, or as much as I would like to. Are you scared sleeping alone in a van? Well, not really, but I must admit some areas are pretty dodgy. I remember when I stayed in South Auckland, one night I had such an uneasy feeling and I couldn't shake it. I went to bed, but I had to get up at midnight and move a few streets over. And after I moved, I could hear what seemed like 2 gunshots coming from the direction of the place where I just came from. So it always pays off to listen to your intuition, I would say. What do you do if someone knocks on your door at night? Well, that depends. If I'm already sleeping and I'm really tired, maybe I don't answer. Sometimes I do answer. The other night when I was driving to Perth, I was thinking it would be nice to spend the night somewhere near Rockingham because they also have dolphins in Rockingham, and I was like, let's check them out in the morning. And I remembered there is the nickel refinery, which belongs to the company that I used to mine nickel for. So I felt like they are friends. No, they are not. I stayed there once before, more than a year ago, so it's not like I'm staying there regularly. And that was no issues. So I went there again, parked next to the fence there under a tree, and then I was watching series, and the security guard came, and he was like, hey, this is actually a private land, and I'm like, that's weird. I didn't see any signs or fences or gates. Like, how am I supposed to know? And he was like, well, look, I don't really care, but I have to tell them and they will probably care. And I was like, she will be all right. You know, I was in New Zealand for way too long. So he left, and then later on I'm still watching my series and I see some light, and I thought somebody was shining the torch into my windscreen again, but then I realized it was my phone that was on silent and it was ringing, and at first I thought it was some scammers because it was a private number. But when they called for the third time, I finally picked up, and it was the West Australian police. He was very politely asking me whether I could move. And it was actually quite a pleasant call. He saw that I used to live here in Sydney, in Northern Beaches. And he was like, yeah, I'm from Manly. But I was just really surprised that they wouldn't even bother coming. They just call you, eh? And I couldn't believe that BHP would call the cops on me. Like, come on, guys, let your girl have some sleep. How often do you service your van? Every 10,000 kilometers? Have you ever broken down? Not with my new van, knock wood. Mitzi is very good, but my old van, that is a different story. So one day I just couldn't start anymore. And thankfully, luckily, it happened right in front of the Aero Club, which I was a member of. So I had the keys, I could use the toilet, the bathroom, I could catch rides with other club members to town to do my shopping. And right next door, about 200 meters, there was a caravan park where I could go occasionally for a shower. It took about a week to source the right part for the van, because at first the mechanics got the wrong one, as it often happens with European brands. So for a week I was totally immobile. What's the most expensive repair you have had? Yeah, that would be the starter motor, because when they disconnected the battery to fix it, they did something wrong and it totally screwed up my immobilizer, so the van was immobilized. But I thankfully learned how to put the code in manually through pressing the gas pedal. And so I could move, but it took me a very long time to get it fixed. How many kilometers does your van have? Well, I bought it with 110,000 and I put 40,000 on it. What's the thing you miss most about having a house? A shower. But what I don't miss at all is the rent. Do you ever feel embarrassed living in a van? No. I'm proud of it. Anyone asks me where I live and I'm like, oh yeah, just there in the van. That's my home. And of course I meet people who absolutely don't understand. They are horrified, but I don't care. That's not my problem. That's their problem. Do you ever think about settling down? No, not really. I don't want to be in the same place. The thing is, there is no place in Australia, I think, where I would be comfortable all year around. Yeah, the winter wouldn't be too cold, the summer wouldn't be too hot. I need to keep moving, at least with the seasons. And a lot of people ask me in the comments, like, Jana, why don't you get a piece of land? Firstly, that reason, the weather, but also I think it's not as easy. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I didn't really do much research, but I think most councils wouldn't be happy with you just getting a land and parking your van there. They would probably require you to have a fixed dwelling in there and whatnot, unless it's somewhere very remote, somewhere rural. Maybe there they don't care, but that kind of defeats the purpose, because I live in Australia so that I am close to the ocean. I don't want to be living somewhere in the desert. Besides, I would have to be totally crazy to buy now, I think, when everything is so expensive right now. Also, if I count the cost, it would cost me to buy and to pay the taxes and rates and whatnot. I think if I put that money into my investments, and then when I'm old and lazy and I don't feel like moving as much anymore, I can pay for a caravan park with the interest. And that way I could still keep my flexibility, and also the gardening, the cleaning of the kitchen and bathroom would be done by somebody else, not me. I hate doing it. Maybe I would also have a pool there, and it's just, why would I have my own land and do it all by myself? I can't see the point right now. What would make you quit van life one day? I think I would have to get very sick to quit van life. Somebody said in the comments under my videos, if I'm too old for van life, I'm too old for life. Yeah, exactly. Does living in a van make dating harder or easier? Well, do I look like the right person to ask this question? I don't know. I haven't been dating for years now, but I think it doesn't really make a difference to women. But when it comes to men, maybe they have it a little bit harder because they don't fit the stereotype of being a provider then. Or maybe women might be a bit concerned about hygiene, and I totally understand that. If I was engaging in those activities, of course I wouldn't want him to stink, and of course I would like to have a shower beforehand. So at first I was really shocked that I was receiving so many comments from men telling me that they could not live without a shower. And I was surprised because I would expect that more from women, because women are, I don't want to offend anyone or generalize, but women are considered to be a bit cleaner, aren't they? Like they have to put up with periods and whatnot, so they have to be a bit more into the hygiene thing, right? Men used to go to work, they wouldn't shower for weeks or months. Yeah, but I think I thought about it for a long time. I think they feel like they might have to provide the shower in order to get laid. Is that right? Is that why you also like, I have to have a shower? I remember when my friend Thomas was building his van, he goes like, no, I have to have a shower in there. And now my other friend is buying a van and he also is like, I have to have a shower. So I wonder if that's the reason. Of course, since I have opted out, I don't really care that I can't have a shower on a whim. There is always a way to have a shower, just not like that. By the way, even though I do not date, I have a few creepy van life dating stories, like situations I put myself into unwillingly. If you wanted to hear them, maybe one day I could make another video about that. What's your cheapest to-go meal? Well, you know me, you know I love semolina porridge, and what I love about it is that I can make it anytime. It only requires shelf-stable ingredients, so I can make it even if I haven't been shopping for days or weeks and I don't have any more fresh veg or fruit or pretty much anything. I can still make semolina porridge. Have you ever had wildlife try to get into your van? Apart from a very inquisitive emu and a chicken, yeah. During the quarantine in New Zealand, my van was stationary for a few weeks and I had like before mice move in. And so I created a no-kill trap and I lured them in with peanut butter and then I kicked them out of the van. It was actually quite funny because one day I was meditating, I was lying on my back and I feel like the animals can sense your brain waves, so they thought I was sleeping while I was just in a deep meditation. And that mouse came and sat on my chest and then it started grooming itself. And I know to some of you it probably sounds pretty disgusting, but I find mice pretty cute. So I was like, oh, but of course they get into your food and they pee and poop everywhere and it stinks. So yeah, I kicked them out. How do you protect your food from animals? Well, the only animal you have to worry about is the mouse. We don't have bears or anything like that. Well, kangaroos, yeah, don't leave any food outside, otherwise the kangaroos will get into it. But for mice, just keep stuff in airtight containers. But I haven't had any mice in my new van. There's no gaps big enough for them to get through, so that's good. How many clothes do you own? Oh my god. Way too many. I so wish I could reduce the amount of my clothes and shoes. I have so many that I haven't used in years, but I always think, oh, maybe one day I will work in the office again and I will need it and then I will have to buy it again. So I am keeping it, but my life would be so much better if I could just leave it somewhere. Okay, that's it. The parrots are here. They want me to feed them. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any more questions, put them down in the comments. I do read them. Thank you for watching and I will see you next time.